We have conditioned ourselves to search for roommates the exact same way we search for dates. You pull up an app, swipe through a few profiles, and look for a good vibe. The compatibility quizzes on these platforms reinforce this mindset. They ask if you prefer indie rock or EDM, if you are a night owl, or if you like to hike on the weekends. Every signature on a lease creates a business partnership. Regardless of your social chemistry, your roommate is a legally binding financial partner. An algorithm can introduce you to someone who shares your taste in music, but it offers zero protection from your landlord once both signatures are on the lease. To understand the risk, you have to understand a concept called joint and several liability. Joint and several liability is a legal rule, meaning that each tenant is independently responsible for the entire terms of the lease, including the total rent. This table compares the social expectations of renting with the legal reality. You might have a verbal agreement with your roommate to split the $2,000 rent straight down the middle, but your landlord only cares about the total amount owed. Watch what happens in this flowchart when a roommate defaults. If the person living down the hall loses their job and comes up short, the landlord has the legal right to demand their half of the rent directly from you. If you don't pay it, both of your credit scores take the hit. The same rule applies to behavior. If your roommate punches a hole in the drywall or illegally sublet their room on a weekend, you can both be handed an eviction notice. Because of this legal structure, renters must stop treating the search process like a social exercise. You have to start underwriting applicants the way a bank underwrites a business loan. The first phase of this process is sourcing your applicants. You are essentially choosing between the open internet and verified digital environments. The traditional route involves scrolling through Craigslist ads or posting in local college Facebook groups. This approach gives you the highest volume of cheap rooms. The trade-off is that you have to act as your own private investigator to filter out fake listings and phishing scams. Dedicated matching platforms like Platnui, Roomster, and Roomie offer a more structured alternative. These apps require identity verification, perform background checks, and use built-in filters to block people who do not match your baseline budget or location needs. These platforms are highly effective at keeping obvious scammers out of your inbox. But an ID check cannot tell you how a stranger handles a disagreement over dirty dishes. To figure that out, you have to conduct an interview. And standard yes or no questions are entirely useless. People will tell you exactly what you want to hear to secure affordable housing. If you ask a stranger if they are a clean, quiet person, they will almost always say yes. The vetting funnel decision tree bypasses rehearsed answers. A generic cleanliness question leads to a generic yes. But a situational question, like asking their exact 5 a.m. routine after hosting a party, forces them to reveal actual habits, leaving the mess or securing the house. You can apply this same tactic to their financial history. Ask if they got their full security deposit back from their last landlord. If the answer is no, ask them to explain why. Pressing a stranger on these details causes short-term, awkward friction. Enduring that friction during the interview is the only way to prevent months of hostility and financial risk later. Even with a perfectly vetted applicant, the initial politeness of moving in together eventually fades. Daily operational friction is inevitable. To manage this, you need a written roommate agreement established on day one. This document dictates quiet hours, guest policies, and exactly how utility bills are divided. Your landlord will not enforce this document for you. Its purpose is to give you written interpersonal leverage, avoiding reliance on someone's memory of a conversation from 3 months ago. You can then offload the actual enforcement of these rules to third-party management apps. Platforms like Venmo and Splitwise handle the math for shared expenses, while apps like Toady track household chores. These tools send automated push notifications when a bill is due or the bathroom needs scrubbing. Housing technology provides the most value when it automates household boundaries. This keeps the living arrangement professional and prevents any one person from being forced into the role of house parent. All of these tactics and tools form a comprehensive roommate tech stack. This quadrant chart maps each strategy based on the effort required to implement it versus the peace of mind it yields. As the bottom left node shows, relying on casual verbal agreements requires almost zero effort, but it leaves you entirely exposed to misunderstandings and unpaid bills. Moving to the top left, downloading a chore tracker or bill splitting app takes 5 minutes and provides an immediate reduction in arguments. Finally, the top right quadrant shows situational interviews and written contracts. These require significant upfront emotional effort, but offer the highest protection. The technology will only protect you if you are willing to put in the work to establish and enforce the systems they provide. Your approach to this stack depends heavily on your current life stage, especially if you are a student or a first-time renter. Without previous co-living experience, you are highly vulnerable to the financial trap of joint liability. You need to insist on written agreements immediately before any bad habits take root. If you've already survived a toxic living situation, your priorities are different. You need to over-index on situational vetting. Lean heavily on apps that prioritize deep lifestyle and personality compatibility over someone who simply matches your budget. For hands-off professionals with more disposable income, managed co-living platforms like Bungalow allow you to pay a premium to completely outsource the friction of leases, furnishings, and maintenance. Shared living is a legal business partnership disguised as a social arrangement. By trading upfront awkwardness for rigid operational systems, you protect your finances, your credit, and your home.